Stacey, I'm here at Sioux Gateway Airport. It's where Trump just wrapped up his speech. This area was packed with crowds who were cheering about that big hint about 2024 that you just mentioned. Big news here in Sioux City tonight from former President Trump. Now, the focus of his visit to Iowa was to help Republicans on the ballot here just 5 days before the midterm election. But the biggest news of the night centered around another election, 2024. Trump giving his biggest hint yet that he may make another run for the White House.
I ran twice, I won twice, and did much better the second time than I did the first, getting millions more votes in 2020 than I got in 2016, and likewise, getting more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country by far. And now, in order to make our country successful and safe and glorious, I will very, very, very probably do it again, okay? Very, very, very probably.
And after he made that statement, there was cheers from the crowd. You heard it there. And then former President Trump said, just get ready, wait, get ready. And that wasn't the only hint that he dropped at tonight's speech. He also said later on in the night, quote, we'll take back our magnificent White House we never should have left, talking about 2024. He also spent a lot of the night talking about what his presidency was like. Back what America was like when he was president. That was intentional, according to the Republican Party chair, Republican of Iowa Party chair Jeff Kaufman. Says Republicans are hoping for what they call a red wave. They want to get conservatives elected up and down the ballot, and they hope that Trump's appearance tonight talking about America under his leadership paints a big contrast to America 2 years later, now under Biden.
The Iowa way of life is under siege, and it is a great way of life, a beautiful way of life. Biden and the far-left lunatics are waging war on Iowa farmers, crushing American energy, attacking Iowa ethanol, and strangling Iowa families with soaring prices. And there's never been a president better to, really, I think I can say to any of these great people, is that right, Eric? There has never been a president that has been better to the farmers or better to Iowa than Trump. Okay, that I can tell you, right?
Now, Trump also stuck to a lot of the traditional Republican talking points tonight, talking about crime, talking about law enforcement, talking about the economy. But of course, he was here to stump for Republicans in Iowa on the ballot, like Governor Kim Reynolds, Republican Senator Chuck Grassley. He spent a lot of time talking about Republican Senator Chuck Grassley, who's in his toughest reelection battle in nearly 40 years with a 3 percentage point lead above Democrat Mike Franken. The former president also took time to talk about Brenna Bird, who's running for Attorney General, even saying she has his full and complete endorsement, and that should put her over the top. Right now, she is 16 points behind Attorney General Tom Miller, at least the recent poll that came out around last month. We have coverage on all of those races and will continue to in the days as we get closer to that midterm election day. I'm live in Sioux City. Amanda Rooker, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.